on AIT Democracy Today, widely acclaimed authority on politics, Monday to Friday, 7 p.m. Nigerian time.
Thank you so much for staying with us. You are watching Kakaki, the African Voice, this Friday morning, and it's time for us to go into our next conversation, talking about the youths and digital innovation, what they're doing with tech and digital innovation going into their vocations. And we will be looking at a report first and foremost. Of course, you know that traditional handcrafts such as weaving, leatherwork, pottery, wood carving, and bead making was what engaged so many Nigerians, young people especially, in the past. But across Nigeria, there's a generational shift that is quietly redefining how people work, how they earn money, and how they craft their future. So let's take a look at this story by Anyole Avotu, which tells us how and why some youths have called for caution in digital vocation revolution. Why caution? Because of the fact that with the rise of high-speed internet, smartphones, and digital skills training, young Nigerians are tapping increasingly into remote jobs, online freelancing, e-commerce content creation, and tech-driven entrepreneurship. So let's take that report and then we'll come back and have a conversation.
Are young Nigerians trading handcrafts for digital opportunities? Across Nigeria, a generational transition is quietly redefining how young people work, earn, and dream. Once rooted in traditional handcrafts such as weaving, leatherwork, pottery, wood carving, and bead making, many youths are now embracing digital platforms that promise speed, skill, and global reach. With the rise of high-speed internet, smartphones, and digital skills training, young Nigerians are increasingly tapping into remote jobs, online freelancing, e-commerce, content creation, and tech-driven entrepreneurship. From graphic design and software development to social media management and virtual assistance, digital work has opened doors beyond Nigeria's borders, offering access to international clients and foreign currency earnings.
While embracing the importance of AI, I would like to say that the foundation should not be thrown away because it's not all about getting it done. The question remains, how did you get it done? For instance, you can be given an assignment to get a design done, you just go on AI, you get it done. The fact remains, can you actually do it yourself?
For many young people, the attraction is economic.
Unlike the days of typewriting, printing on 201 machine, printing on letterpress and other things that you can't even have a sample at hand at a spot. But now that we are into bigger DI and bigger ways of doing printing, in fact, in our place now we have different types of machines like the EMO, we have Konica, we have bigger DI that within short period of time we can deliver a bulk work.
Digital opportunities often require lower startup costs, provide faster income returns, and allow flexible working hours. In contrast, traditional handcrafts demand long apprenticeships, physical labor, and access to limited local markets, making them less appealing in a fast-paced economy. However, cultural historians and artisans warn that this shift may be accelerating the decline of Nigeria's indigenous craft skills passed down through generations and deeply tied to identity, history, and community life. As fewer youths learn these crafts, there is growing concern that centuries-old traditions could gradually disappear. Yet, experts argue that the digital revolution does not have to replace tradition, it can strengthen it. Social media, online marketplaces, and digital storytelling now offer artisans the chance to showcase Nigerian handcrafts to global audiences, increase demand, and preserve cultural heritage in modern formats.
When you don't have this idea, you don't know these things, then there's a problem. So this whole idea of people wanting to just delve into art without learning from the basics, it wouldn't work. You can be painting or be doing whatever you want to do. You just put colors here, do brush, and then you sell, no problem. But there will be a day where there will probably be a symposium or a forum, a small get-together, then they just call you. I say, please, can you just tell us about sculpture? You don't have any idea. You don't have anything to say.
As Nigeria's digital economy continues to expand, the critical question remains, can innovation and tradition coexist? The answer may lie in empowering young Nigerians to use digital tools, not just to escape the past, but to reimagine and preserve it for the future. Anyole Avotu, AIT News, Abuja.
All right, thank you everyone and welcome back to the show. As we mentioned, we will be talking to two youths this morning about youth and digital skills, the transition from vocation to digital. We have joining us this morning the creator of Alari brand, that's Yemisi On, and tech expert, public relations officer, Kosiso Chukwu Umeje. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
All right, let me start from, well, you are both wearing glasses, bespectacled young ladies. Let me start from Kosi. What exactly do you do? How do you do it? And how did it start?
Okay, good morning, and thank you very much for having me, first of all. I am a sales and marketing person at Texagon Academy. I'm also the PRO officer. I will not say exactly I'm a tech girly, but I know enough about the tech space. There was a time I did run a 3-month course on cybersecurity after I rounded up my degree in UNN. So basically, that's who I am.
So what do you do now? Apart
Sales and marketing in Texagon Academy.
Okay,
Yes.
That's what you do. Yemisi, what about you?
I'm a crochet artist. I make home decors, crochet outfits out of crochet yarns.
Wow, that's...
The knitting, you people know it as knitting, crafts.
Crochet. Okay, now what's it like? Because if I take a look at crochet, and it's a handwork. It's something that makes you sit down for hours on end. Where's the handshake between tech and crochet?
Now, starting with, crocheting is passion. You need to have the passion for it to be able to sit the long hours to create. And the part where they meet is people need to understand that, yes, the two need to coexist. What we know about crocheting before was what our grandmothers, our mothers used to do, the normal purses and all. But with the advent of digital space now, we've been able to use it as not only branding, but storytelling, marketing, and be able to reach people even on the global scale now, and not just limited to the local markets that our parents are used to. We've been able to expand beyond the normal physical one that they knew before.
Yeah. Okay, let's come to you, Kosi. Run us through the journey, how it has been being digital marketer as well as a public relations officer. You know, most of the times we had a president in Nigeria who says Nigerian youths are lazy, and we had that for a long time, lazy Nigerian youths. But we understand that right now, even people who sit at home doing nothing, you know, your neighbor knows that nothing is going on. Everyone is a tech bro. So tell us, so what's the journey like for you, and what have you had to do being a digital marketer?
Okay, it has been a very interesting one and also very exhausting at the same time. Because for someone like me, I did arts in the university. I did history and international studies. But when I came outside, I realized the world is moving fast. Everybody is transitioning. Really, there are no jobs out there. There are, but maybe they're not sufficient enough. So you need to upskill. You need to add value to yourself. And I've always thought, okay, I think I can do tech. So I did run a 3-month course on cybersecurity. It was a sponsored course. I did that for 3 months, but it was not easy. It was very hard, trying to keep up with it, waking up every day, choosing to just stay consistent, finish, and graduate properly and get certified. It wasn't easy. So, you know, when there are now statements like, oh, the Nigerian youths are lazy, youths are not lazy. It's actually not just fair on us. My journey, like I said, has been interesting so far. Currently, I'm not practicing tech. I'm still learning, but I'm working with the tech academy, Texagon Academy. So I do sales and marketing for them. So because I've run a course, I'm knowledgeable about the tech space, and I realize this is something that everybody needs to learn, everybody needs to imbibe, because the world is fast transitioning into the digital space, and we cannot afford to be left behind. So yes.
All right, Yemisi, what you do is more or less regarded as a traditional craft that you have now brought into the tech space using innovation. But anybody looking at you wouldn't imagine that you do such a thing. You don't cut that figure. So what's the journey been like? How did you learn to do this? And was there any influence from the society? And what exactly are you trying to achieve by going into this particular vocation?
Okay, starting with the journey, I work as a 9-to-5er before. I decided one day that I think I would make use of these crafts and turn it into a real business. So it started with when I was in school before. Skill started when I was in school. I learned it through YouTube, by the way. I already have the beginner knowledge from school, from secondary school, from my friends, from my mom. I only knew the beginner knowledge, how to make purses, how to make bags, but I never knew how to turn it into outfits. Then one day I was on social media. I saw someone make it a crochet outfit, a crochet top. I'm like, I already have this beginner knowledge.
That's what you're wearing now, right?
Exactly, I'm wearing a knitted top. This is the one we do with machine. Now, people already attribute this to just cardigans before, but now we make tops, we make bags, we can even make a whole blanket through it. It's not just only cardigans anymore. Now, when I saw this on social media, I realized that I already have the beginner knowledge. I can actually do this too if I put my mind to it. So I checked YouTube, I learned a few things, and it actually came out nice. And now when I was having issues with my 9-to-5, I decided that I already have this skill. And this is a money-making thing because it's an industry that people don't see the opportunity, so to say. And then, as my 9-to-5, I was into marketing. So I decided that why can't I just bring this marketing skill into crocheting? And that was how I started social media, influencing, and here we are, I have a business. And with that, I also learned how to also ship to other places. So it has been, digital skills has been able to help me evolve the traditional crafts, like you said. It has helped me evolve it to something that people just see as minute, something that people don't pay attention to. It has helped me evolve it into a global brand, so to say.
All right, we're happy to hear you and that we are young, and also you think that you want to do the job and the occupation of the old, yes, as people will say it. Maybe we'll talk about that, but let's come to you because you mentioned social media and how that was more like the inspiration, where it came from, yes, and how you've transitioned from beyond where you started from. Do you have any experience like that, like you're marrying both traditional and digital vocations together?
Oh, yes. So let me just do a back tour to what we do at Hexagon Academy. This will help. First of all, we are an education technology company, and we partner with secondary schools across the country. Now, we realized that in an digital transitioning world, we need to target the classrooms. So now our focus is on primary and secondary school education, because if we wait until the university level, we'll already be so late. We'll be late to the party, and we will not have a seat. So now we target young students. The whole idea is to catch them young. Because if you look what is happening currently in the world, you see young lads, young kids who are making groundbreaking achievements. And to further give us that publicity, we have gone to our social media handles, on LinkedIn, on Instagram. We're trying to create the publicity to reach out people so you can understand what it is we're doing. We're trying to create the awareness. And because that's not enough, now we have to go physical. We now have to do physical marketing. Now, because so many schools are not online. Now we're trying to, that you see where we're trying to marry the whole idea. If they were aware of the impact of the digital space, they should have a presence online. So now we can't get our markets easily. We have to go physically to them. So that's the core of what we're doing. Now, a very interesting thing, our partnership has a very interesting model. We deploy certified, qualified STEM education and infrastructure to schools. the entire deployment, the funding rests on our shoulders, with only a very subsidized sustainable fee integrated into their school fees. This helps us, raise a generation of youths who are creators of technology, not just consumers of technology. So yes, now we are marrying the traditional method of teaching students in the classroom, and with tech now coming forward.
Now, the question for me really is, I have one leg in both, so on both sides, a bit of the traditional, a bit of the modern, and I'm wondering how much of employment opportunities we can have. Yemisi, I'll give you that. In what other areas do you see employment opportunities, not just employing people, but being self-employed and becoming employers of labor? Because you've picked up something that is innocuous, many people will not really think much about it, but you've turned it around, evolved into a real business. Are there other areas like that that we can look at? Things that are essentially traditional in Nigeria, but can be projected onto the world stage via digital technology, the internet, and all of that?
I believe Nigeria is so blessed because we have creative minds. You would be shocked at what people are really how people are transitioning these traditional things into the modern, bringing it into the modern world. Now, take for example, in crocheting, we have pottery. When you see the ceramic bowls that people release, that people bring out, you'll be shocked at, was this the same ceramic bowls that people used to use as calabash clay pots those years? Because they've modernized it. They are able to also, and people who are interested in that kind of crafts, it will generate employment opportunities for them. Because now, having had to wait for white-collar jobs every time, when you can easily pick what because people actually value culture. Expatriates will come to Nigeria and say they want to go back with things that are cultural. I mean, we tend not to see the value, but they know the value. They know what it means to appreciate heritage. You understand? So I believe when youth can pick all these traditional crafts, pick up pottery, pick up crocheting, pick up even what's this weaving? This weaving that they do, this ashoke. Yes, pick it up. Turn it into, they make fabulous outfits out of it. We have global fashion brands that have made outfits out of these things. Pick it up. There are several untapped resources and cultural heritage that we can actually turn into and modernize into job opportunities for ourselves.
All right, Kosi, let's come back to you because we understand that transitioning, it takes a lot of money, even a lot of time as well, a lot of resources. For example, we're looking at the Nigerian context that you have to fuel yourself and everything. I mean, we had a veteran on Kakaki on one of our programs yesterday, Jigsaw by Gbenga Aruleba. We had the veteran Nollywood actor Pet Odoche, who says that he spent 40,000 naira daily on electricity. I mean, you're hiding your head. I guess you are doing some maths right there. Daily, not weekly. That's a lot of money. So if you have to do that investment in yourself, as you say, it was after school, you went back to yourself to say, I need to do this. How much do you need to spend and how much training do you need to be successful in that field?
Okay, so if I understand you correctly, you want to know how capital intensive it is transferring to tech space. Well, to tell you, it's a lot. It's a lot of money because I wouldn't say tech is not a staple in Nigeria. It is, but not everybody's conversant with it. So now for our job at Texicon Academy, you're trying to convince schools that they have the computer studies, the digital technology. We're trying to introduce something that is more in-depth, something that is far deeper than what they're already accustomed to. And now that requires a lot of money. Now we're talking about money in marketing, money in the infrastructure that we use, money in personnel management, there's a lot of funding that goes into it. A lot of work has to be put into it. And we're talking about millions and millions of naira. Now, our partnership with schools is what we term as a low-risk, high-impact investment partnership for schools. We are the ones bearing the financial burden, the financial risk, because to be honest, when we are approaching schools, even when we sign partnerships with schools, we're not even able to break even in the first year. It's not even possible. That's why we run our MOU partnerships for a standard 2 years, so we're even able to recover. So it's not really a business that says how to make profits. We're looking at impact here. And impact requires finances. It requires investment. So yes, there's a lot of money to be spent.
You know, I was just wondering that I have an initiative for schoolgirls, girls in senior secondary schools, and then we have the annual, the Rena Shut Up conference. That means that we have to teach them public speaking and that. So while you were speaking, I was hoping that, okay, maybe we have a thing or two to do together. Maybe for a week before the conference in September, we could plan a thing. But you now saying that it takes 2 years at least. I'm like, oh. That's a lot.
It depends on the angle you're coming in. It depends on what you want to teach them.
Yeah.
You know, with tech, now we are coming in. When we approach schools, we are basically starting the school inside the school. We are transforming classrooms into the next generation AI and robotics lab.
Smart classrooms.
Yes, smart classrooms, equipping it with laptops, robotic kits, smart boards, and other digital learning tools. Now, these things are very expensive. They require lots of capital, particularly because of even maintenance. Now, the way our partnership model is being run, we do not, the fees that the students pay, the fees that are enshrined into their school fees termly, we do not require the students to pay for any damages that happen in the lab. We do not require the school to, you know, compensate us when there are any damages. I mean, you're working with children. Accidents are inevitable. So you understand that even for maintenance, it's a lot of money to be spent. So it depends on the angle you're coming from. What are you looking to teach them? Are you looking at tech? Are you looking at other skills? Because, I mean, tech is not the only skill to learn.
That brings me to the issue of challenges. What kind of challenges do you face, Yemisi, in your profession? And how can that be a pointer for anyone who is planning to do something like you are, something to look out for, so that they know someone who's been there can walk them through those challenges so they don't have to fall into them?
Okay. Our major issue is people understanding the value of what they're getting. Because people are so used to mass-produce items. And then when you tell them, this is the value of this product, it is handmade, it takes time, it takes dedication, it takes energy. And it even takes the material, the cost of materials too. So when you tell them the value of this thing, because it is handmade, they will be like, oh, if I go and buy this from, if I order this from this, if I order this from that. Because they are so used to mass productions. So paying for that value that they will be getting from us is always an issue. That's like our major challenge.
I think I feel guilty right now because one time I know a lady who does crochet, and she posted a dress one time, a sketch, and it really looked good. And someone said they wanted that dress for their birthday shoot. So I thought that, okay, maybe this could be for me, you know, in celebration of the birthday. But when I asked, I mean, it's just a simple dress. It was in hundreds of thousands. I say, Mbano, count me out of this.
Yeah, but what do you expect? It's bespoke, actually.
Exactly.
Anything bespoke comes very, very pricey.
So how do you make sales? How do you see that this outfit, this dress you've made is not in your shop, at least before you get market? If you have the market, you are big out there, people know you. I know that it's quick for people to refer, you are selling out quick and all that. So for someone who is starting, yes, we understand the cost of production, the time that it takes, the energy. In fact, sitting down here for 3 hours, we know what it takes us. Short breaks, we're running around just to stroll and, you know, ease our legs. But in your case, you have to sit down there, do the thing. We understand that energy. But how do you now say that at least you are also known, you are making sales, why not running at a loss as well?
Number one, you need to understand your market. Who are the people you are selling to? Would they be able to buy this? There are people that they know their kind of audience. My audience cannot buy anything more than 20,000 naira. And there are some people that know their audience, that my audience can, if I give it to them at 200,000 naira, they will pay for it.
Right.
So you need to understand your audience and know the kind of thing that you're going to, the aspects of the craft that you're going to offer them. Take for example, I'm doing crocheting, and I realized that my audience, they can only afford 20,000 naira when I give it to them. So what kind of crochet will I do? I'll make just halter neck tops that it is easy to wear, that they can easily pick out their money and say, let me just pay for this. When my salary comes, let me just drop this. It's just 20,000 naira. And then I have an audience of that can pay 200,000 naira for what I offer. What will I give to them? I will give them a blanket, a crochet blanket, home decors, crochet mats, table covers. That is how you understand your market segments, and then you are good to go.
All right, I think that's wisdom right there, targeting your
Proper market segmentation. That's what you're talking about, because in marketing, that's what you call it, market segmentation. Does that apply to you too, Kosi?
Yes, we do have our target audience when we are approaching schools. Now, for Texagon Academy, we have a number of requirements. Now, even though it's not an organization or a company seeking to make profits, we still can run at a loss because it's not charity. It's not a government organization. It's not a government project. This is a private run organization. So we have a number of requirements when we're approaching schools, and we majorly target private and missionary schools because it's easier to even manage at first. Now, the number requirement being 350 students minimum from the primary school to the secondary school. That's because when you're coming with state-of-the-art machines and equipment, you have to consider at the end of the day, this school will I be able to, still make the money back and still put it back into the business? Because if you're approaching schools with lower numbers and then you're deploying very expensive, capital-intensive machines and equipment, you will run at a loss. So we do have a number of requirements, but we are not limited to location. Currently, we are partnered with over 77 schools across the state. The Nigerian Force Education Unit is one of our partnered. We are partnered with them currently.
Okay, we have to go now.
Okay.
I need to tell you to hold on there. A final comment here. Yemisi, what do you see for the future for both digital-based and traditional vocations? How long can they exist side by side before one swallows the other?
I don't think they would swallow one another. I think as long as you can bring in the knowledge of the digital, bring in the knowledge of tradition, they are going to coexist side by side, because you're trying to reach a market. You can't always depend on referrals, right? And you can't always depend on offline marketing. So where will you see your people if you are not depending on that? They are online. I'm in Abuja right now. They are in Lagos. They are in Ibadan. So how do I reach them? By making sure I use this digital knowledge that I have, pair it with the traditional knowledge that I have, and ensure that they both coexist. And then we are going to get to the same destination.
All right. I think at this point we have to leave it at that. Thank you so much, ladies, for coming on the program.
Thank you very much.
For crying out loud, it's been ladies only on this program
And
today.
we love it. Yemisi, just before we go, do you know any Oche Inu orchestration?
Yes, I do.
Okay, he or she, they are hailing you on our comment section. So Yemisi with plenty love emojis, lovely.
Okay.
And me, from me to you, Kosi.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, ladies. Yemisi Adeniyi, Alari brand creator, and Kosi Ochuko Meje, tech expert and public relations officer, joining us to talk about youth and digital skills this Friday morning on Kakaki, the African Voice. We will be going on a break to bring you entertainment and lifestyle. Let's let our hair down a little.